Hey guys, welcome to the SimRacingPaddock. I'm William Marsh, and we are testing out the latest first party release by Studio 397, the GT3 Challengers Pack. This is another GT3 pack that is going to bolster the previous GT3 Power Pack, and that is going to, I think, bring the car roster up to 10. But right now it's still 9 because the pack initially is going to release with 4 cars, and then there is the 5th car coming later. So you get the Mclaren 720S GT3. This is a first for any racing title, I believe, let alone a PC simulation title. So this is the first time this car has been digitally recreated, and it's an unorthodox design, but I think it looks pretty cool, all things considered. The Porsche 911 GT3 R. This is the second Porsche car that has been released by Studio 397. This is adding to the RSR GTE car, and this is just further strengthening their relationship. There is also the Audi R8 Lms Gt3, the first Audi to be released by Studio 397. So this is a new license, new partnership with the auto manufacturer. So this is nice. And then we also have the Bmw M6 Gt3, big car, front engine, rear wheel drive, intense car, nice to have. And it'll be interesting to see how it compares to the car released in Assetto Corsa Competizione. And then last but definitely not least, there will be the Aston Martin Vantage GT3, the 2019 version. That is the licensing deal is just finalizing right now, but it is going to be very nice when it comes out. Let's take a look at the car. And this is definitely going to be one of the most visually striking cars, I think. So this is definitely Aston Martin GT3. It has a similar nose design to that McLaren, but still, this is very interesting. Almost looks a little like the Mercury SLS in some ways, but I gotta say, it looks pretty freaking awesome. Yeah, there's been some colds and stuff going around. It's life, but hey, we're here. Time for some racing. And one thing you will notice is the steering wheel in front of me is different. Unfortunately, I'm having some weird issues with my adapter that I use for my Fanatic rims to work on the OSW. I think there's a wire going bad in it, and I'm looking to get that replaced. So that will be replaced in the near future. And for now, I'm using the Holger QR1 quick release with the it's a Momo Race 2 rim. I got this off eBay off Craigslist for about $40. It was kind of beat up because there were a few bolts that were stripped out, and the previous owner kind of did a bad job of removing it. So it's a beat up rim, still functional. It's nice. It's a 350 millimeter rim, so it is on the larger side, but it works out. So, also one thing to mention is that this car release is also part of their new lighting system. So they are doing this new lighting system for the cars, and you can learn more about that in the Studio 397 roadmap. If you go down, you will see that this pack, the car's textures, it looks quite a bit better. And it's part of their graphical overhaul going on right now. And it does look nice. The cars look more authentic. The lighting seems better. It just feels like there's more substance to it right now. So that is nice to see. And it's going to trickle out to more cars. I don't believe it's trickling back right now. But for now, this is what we're getting. And we'll get to take a look at it as we go on. So yeah, you see more screenshots. This, I'm not sure what turn this is, but yeah, you see just the graphical like improvements, and it looks good. Hopefully more things will progress as it keeps going, but I'm excited to see what's going on right now. So people were asking to check the Steam page. So the Steam page is right here. Download on Steam right here. I already own it, but it is available for $17.10 US. I believe that's €14.99 euro. And I believe, like, so it says this item is considered as an in-game item for the purchases or purposes of the Steam refund offer. So as it being an in-game item, you can't trade it with people. You can't, I don't know about actual refunds. So in-game purchase. Okay, you can refund it within 48 hours of purchase, I guess. So you can do that. But in my early impression driving, I don't think you are going to actually want to refund it. It's a fun pack so far. So let's stop a little bit of this rambling and jump into the game. Oh yeah, one last thing I want to show you though. So another thing they did in a recent update. In a recent update to rFactor 2 is for direct drive wheels such as my OSW, they finally added support for adjusting degrees of rotation on a per car basis. So you will need to go and adjust a text file to be able to actually take advantage of it. So you go into your rFactor 2 install folder. So it'll be different for other people, but it's under Steam, Steam Apps, Common, rFactor 2, User Data, and then Player. That's generally what it is. And then wherever your default install folder for Steam is, that might vary. So you go to controller.json, and then you'll be greeted by this. You scroll down roughly halfway, and it is, I believe, under General Controls. And at the bottom of General Controls, there are some new settings that you will need to tweak. So if you go to steering wheel maximum rotation from driver, it's basically, actually no, that's not what it is. It's steering wheel range, and then that I believe would be false. Like our steering wheel software rotation, that's what it is. So steering wheel software rotation, by default in this file, it is false. To be able to take advantage of this new feature, you need to change that to true. So yeah, just highlight true, save. And then you will need to set the default maximum degrees of rotation in the driver. So here's SimuCube. rFactor 2 supports steering rotations up to 1440 degrees. That is what is recommended. So you change that in SimuCube to 1440. And then under steering wheel maximum rotation default, change to 1440. And then that is basically all you need. There's also the bump stop harshness, which is when you reach that maximum rotation in the game. That's how harsh the bump stop is. I set to 25. It feels good. And yeah, so that's basically what you need to change to take advantage of that new feature in higher end wheels, such as the OSW, AccuForce, Sim Steering, etc. And we are good. And we will jump into single player. Thanks for that, Shane. And as a disclaimer, I mentioned earlier, when you buy this pack right now, you only get 4 of the 5 cars. When the 5th car is released, that will be implemented into the pack for free. So you don't have to pay a separate price for the separate car. And yeah, so when you buy the pack, you are getting 5 cars, but just not immediately. So let's check the tracks. That's what I'm thinking. I think we should do Sebring first. Sebring's a fun track. It is challenging. Let me change into display capture or game capture real quick. There we go. Bounce back into rFactor 2. And we will do the Sebring full layout. first car I think we'll just take for a spin is the Porsche 911 GT3R. That's what I was testing before. And we can jump in, load the screen. So you will, like, for people who haven't jumped into the stream recently, you will notice things are a little different. I recently upgraded to a ultra-wide 34-inch high refresh rate monitor from Alienware. And partly I wanted to do that because I wanted to see what 120 Hertz felt like. And I'm going to make a video in the future about it. So for now, I'm just trying to bask in it, take it all in, and get my thoughts put together before I make that video. But I gotta say, jumping to a high refresh rate monitor feels freaking awesome. It is definitely a good improvement. Hold on a second, I want to turn down the brightness on my tablet. The downside of moving to a single monitor on this setup, though, is for streaming. Because in the past, I would have my center monitor be the main streaming monitor. I would have my chat be on the left monitor, and then other monitoring statistics on the right. Now I just have one monitor, no chat on this screen, so I'm using my iPad as a stream monitor, which it works all right. I should have charged it last night though, but hindsight's 20/20. Hopefully it doesn't die while racing. So something funny though about jumping to an ultra wide, it looks like there are some minor glitches with the UI. Because you set it to the maximum width for the UI, you see race is overlapping and running off the rectangle. You're seeing some artifacts down there. It doesn't inhibit the gameplay, but I find it interesting. So we will jump into car. Another downside of me jumping into this car with this rim, because I lost all my buttons for now, is that I had to turn off speed limiter in the pits and basically have to manage without it. So let me know how sound is, guys, because I can't really monitor it right now, but let me know how sound is for you guys. And speaking of sound, I really like the sound of this car. I think ever since Studio 397 hired Fonseca to improve the sounds for rFactor 2, he's done a great job. Because this sounds like higher quality rFactor 2 sounds. Or not rFactor 2 sounds. It's starting to sound not too close to Race Room, but good improvements over what we had before. You feel a little more depth. You feel a little more immersed into the car. A little more grit to it. And that's one thing I felt was missing at first, but they're doing a good job with now. But yeah, this Porsche, it is quick, but it is challenging. I think I have it on lower settings because I was prioritizing frame rate. Maybe I'll turn it up for the next car. Because I did have it set to, I think, medium or low. Because I was trying to get the full 120 frames per second. But since you guys aren't really going to see anything above 60, I should turn it down a bit. Hey, Key20, how's it going? Merry Christmas. What I like about this car is you can throw it in and you fight it. And it's still manageable. And also, one thing you'll notice is on the top left of my screen, that is the tire monitor. So yeah, Shane, that is. You can open that. It's default in rFactor 2. I believe if you hit shift and the equal sign or something like that, you can pull up the tire tool. And it's pretty awesome seeing the tire model at work in rFactor 2. So you can see under a left turn, the right side tires get compressed. I don't know if there are any temps or anything on that. But yeah, this car feels pretty awesome. It feels pretty close to the RSR, but I believe the GT3R is like the engine is a little further back, because the RSR is actually, I believe, a midship engine car. This actually is rear, I think. So this is possibly a little livelier. You have to be a little gentler on the throttle. Under trail braking while turning, the car will definitely step out more. Feeling the force feedback ramping up over these curves is awesome. The only thing for Porsche though is it just doesn't really fit my driving style. That's the thing, because I tend to be more of a precise driving style. For Porsches and other rear-engine cars, you sort of have to throw it in more, and thanks to whoever it was who subscribed, I can't really see because I don't have my monitor screen. Thiago Silva, thank you for subscribing. But yeah, it's interesting the way this car behaves, because you can't get too aggressive on the throttle or else you do understeer and just plow like crazy. You have to throw the car into the corners, use your pedals to steer, really throw the weight of this car around. Yeah, I'll need to shrink the notification. I'll do that in a minute. So, I actually haven't driven the 720S yet. I wanted to wait to do that car until live stream so I could get my legitimate raw first impressions of the car. So, I want to get my legit raw first impressions of that, so we'll jump to that car next. But it'll be interesting because there's the 650S and the GT3 Power Pack. And now there's a 720S, so I wonder how those cars compare. But yeah, once you get into the groove with this car, it just feels great. Kind of funny, I glanced at the bottom right and I saw H. Jackson. I thought at first it said H. Jackman. I was like, huh, that'd be interesting. Hugh Jackman in a race car. Alright, we'll do one more lap in this car. I'll shut up and I'll just let you listen to the car. Those bumps in turn 17 are brutal. There we go. About 5.5 tenths up on this last lap. Whew. That is intense, guys, but oh man. This car is a lot of fun. It is a challenge. Kind of more challenging than I made it out to be. Because it's like, if you get too hard in one corner, you can easily go around. You gotta be careful on the throttle. It's times like this when I wish rFactor 2 had a throttle meter, because I'm not sure if you truly got how much footwork is required for a car this jumpy. Because this car can be intense. Just get a whoa down for a corner on a throttle, especially in that tight hairpin there. You got to be careful or else you do lose it. And then here, shifting the weight of the car, making sure you hit those apexes. Got a little overeager there. But yeah, all things considered, this is a fun car. So now we are going to hop out of this car, jump into the Mclaren. But let's listen to some of the external sounds first. It's not as raw as Race Room. It's not as raw sounding as Race Room, but it's on the right track. Thank you to whoever it is who subscribed. I will fix a notification in a minute, make it smaller. Haken. Thank you for subscribing. Let's try something real quick. I've done a little testing with the M6. So let's see. Alert box. Let's shrink it down. I'll do it here. Yeah, this is a fun car, guys. This is fun. Good way to kick off this pack so far. So, hits, we are going to be jumping into the Mclaren next, then the BMW, I think, and then we'll close with the Audi. So, if we go to Mclaren, it's kind of funny because there's McLaren 650S, McLaren 650S GT3, world's fastest gamer, and then 720S. So we can compare the two silhouettes. So here, it's kind of stretched out, the image, because of me running ultra wide, but it's a sleek car, but just nothing compared to that 720. That 720 hunkered down low. It is just low to the ground. The wing, it's pretty impressive looking car. I think we will try this at Matsusaka, aka Suzuka, so we can do the Grand Prix circuit. We were talking about changing the settings before jumping though. So if we go to display, so we are largely at high. We'll do medium shadows. So I'm trying to prioritize doing frame rate over just outright visual looking good. Audi. How do you do, neighbor? So yeah, these are the settings I'm running. I'm running 1340 by 1440p at like 120 hertz. And I wonder if it's the scaling that might make it look a little poor as well. So yeah, you can see 1340, 1440, anti-aliasing level 4, and it's looking pretty good. And I am running with the GTX 1080, so you can see 8 gigabytes of video memory. So that works. We will jump into the next car.
All right.
Thank you to whoever it was who subscribed. I should see it on my screen in a second. Isaac Lopez, thanks for that. And you'll see I shifted the item a little lower. So how does that look for you guys? Hopefully it's a little better. My iPad is at 14%. I don't think it's going to last through this stream, unfortunately. But we will get it going. Worst case scenario, I might run this in windowed mode, and then I can just do a chat window over it. Howdy doody, neighbor, you know. Ned Flanders. I'll just pause my stream because it's working.
Data logging.
So it's interesting. With this Audi, you definitely notice a lower down windshield, less field of view. Except one thing I notice is that the car-specific force feedback multiplier, I have it set to 100% SimiCube, so I need to set this down to about 30% in the profiler to feel comfortable. And we can shift the field of view a little bit, but this feels about right. That's the thing with this. 44 feels about right. We're just not going to get as much visibility. Or did I say something else, not the 720S? I meant to say 720, sorry about that. So we need to turn off the speed limiter. So it's interesting. I can definitely tell there is a difference between this car's sound and the 650S. Oh, my bad. So this is definitely, whoa. I did not expect this car to be livelier than that Porsche. So this is a mid-engine car. Sounds like it's a little more aerodynamic. So it's a little more aero-dependent. I wouldn't say unusable, it feels okay, but I guess it's close to real life. It would be interesting to experience this car in VR, though. Full tires. Hey guys, Merry Christmas to you as well. This car feels fun, but definitely on the lively side. But now we have our outlap in. We're gonna have some heat in the tires. Let's see how this car performs. So here's the first test. Some oversteer out of the corner. I clipped the grass a bit, so that might have been part of it. But it seems like the car really wants to break free under throttle, even with traction control. It's kind of surprising, so you definitely have to be very careful with your right foot. You can get aggressive over this curve. The car will take it. Rolling the brakes late in that curve, and should be okay. Rolling the throttle. Keep the car under control. Default TC would be 3, so that's what I'm running, because unfortunately I lost all my buttons on this wheel. So hopefully in the future I'll get it back up and running, but it's kind of unfortunate right now. But yeah, default TC would be 3. And yeah, it's breaking free quite a bit, surprisingly. So going through 130R. Little lift, keep the car planted, let the aerodynamics do their job. Get into the tight corner with the mechanical grip. Miss that corner just a hair. Let the air push the car down. There we go. There's a lap. Quick lap. So Jack, I'm having a weird issue with my converter for the Fanatec rim that I use, and basically under heavy steering and heavy force feedback, it will trigger every single button. I contacted Sim Racing Machines. They said they will send me a new rim, or not new rim, but new converter after Christmas, but for now I'm just making do with this. And this was a cheap Momo rim I bought off Craigslist for 40 bucks. So it works, but it's different than what I'm used to. And yeah, no buttons. And I don't usually drive with a 350 millimeter rim though. So this is interesting experiment. Because I believe this car in real life uses a 300. Yes, I have cleaned the pins. I have taken it apart. I've cleaned out the entire adapter. What it sounds like is it might be a grounding issue, because last month they released a new version of the adapter that apparently fixed some grounding issues. Alright, so 5th gear, take 130R. We can't take it flat in this car, but we will try. Yeah, run a little too wide. So aero is not that good. But hey, we got close to making it stick flat out. That's pretty remarkable in this car. Okay, I'm gonna do one more lap where I just totally shut up, let you listen to the car. Alright, there's one lap around Suzuka with the McLaren 720S GT3. Fun car. Very lively, surprisingly more so than the Porsche. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you can harness this car, maybe tweak the setup a little bit, make it more stable, or ramp up the traction control a little bit, I'd say this could be a very quick car. So, yeah, another good car for this pack. Sounds are pretty nice. It has that level of depth that I come to expect from Fonseca sounds, and yeah, satisfactory car. So we will hop out of this, take a listen to some of the external sounds. This car looks nice on in action. The screenshots are one thing, but looking at this car moving on the track, it's very nice. I gotta say that. This is... I'm not sure if I'd go as far as say this is my favorite so far. But just the way this drives, and also the sounds external, I think these are better external sounds in terms of sample quality and just mixing compared to the Porsche. I think this is slightly better. So, yeah, I'm liking this car. Unorthodox look, but it's pretty cool. So, we will hop out of this car. Next stop, BMW. So, one thing I do want to just nitpick on. So, this series thing, this series slider, why does this exist right now? Why does this exist? I mean, I know it exists for online events, but they're just, they don't use it. So you always just click all tracks and cars, and yeah, it's just that way. And then you just have to nitpick and sort through. So for this GT3 pack, I would have loved to just see GT3. So we see GT3 World Series, that's a third-party mod, but you don't have that distinction. You don't have that grouping of GT3. I would have loved that option as opposed to just going from McLaren and then have to go to Mercedes, pick AMG GT3. And then if you wanted to go with the Radical, you have to choose Radical. But we're going over to BMW, so we have to go to the entire opposite side of this list and jump in here. So, yeah, I'm hoping in the new UI it's sorted out, but the way it is right now, I'm just not a fan. I know, I was saying I was nitpicking, but yeah, that's just a small nitpick in a great pack. So, let's pick another track right now. What choices do we have? Let's try Silverstone. The Silverstone GT layout can be pretty fun. So yeah, we'll do a few laps in this BMW, and then we will hop into the Audi, and then we will be Audi here. I don't think I have Paul Ricard for rFactor 2, but Paul Ricard is one of my least favorite tracks, like, in all of racing. I will say that. Paul Ricard is a mess. It's perfect for the BMW. But hey, should be good for BMW here too, because there are a few long straights. It'll be interesting to see how it takes Maggot Beckett Chapel. So we gotta turn down the car-specific force feedback multiplier again. How to do this for every new car we jump into. Slightly irritating, but it's useful.
Disabled.
So again, not the best visibility-wise. This car has a surprisingly low roof for being as big a car as it is. Very interesting sound from this car. Turn off the pit speed limiter. Very pronounced transmission whine. To my knowledge, it wasn't really as present in other cars in this sim. So, interesting touch. Nice engine though. And I mean, I know I'm gonna be a little bit of a grouch here. I miss the BMW Z4 GT3 sound. This just is nowhere near that. This just is way too tame. But yeah, so this is the only car in the pack, or in this pack, that is front engine rear wheel drive. The GT3 Power Pack has the Merc and the Callaway Corvette, which are front engine rear wheel drive. But this is the only front engine rear wheel drive right now. But I believe the Aston Martin is also going to be a front engine rear wheel drive that we'll be able to test out later on. But yeah, this car so far is pretty good. Pretty far from normal sound. I thought it was okay. Because I know the M8 GTE has a different sound. I thought this one was pretty close, but I'll have to look up onboard sounds later on. So yeah, this car is definitely a boat, but it has a lot of torque. That's what I'm noticing. So yeah, it's tricky to get a woe down. The tires just want to break free like that Mclaren. We're starting to get some heat in the tires though, so we'll get a better idea of the car's true performance. Scuderia doing pretty well. It's just been pretty hectic holiday season. Had to get the floors in my room replaced because of mold. Health issues. Yay! But yeah, things are starting to look up. Things getting better. And I'm really excited for 2019. 2019 is going to bring up some good stuff. Where's the turbo whine? That is a good question. Is the GT3 turbo? I thought the GTE was turbo. I could be mixing them up though. My mind's been like shot the past month or so. So you can see I really understeered that corner, but we kept it on track. There we go. I think in terms of handling, this is my least favorite. It's just, it's not on the fault of the developers, it's just the characteristics of this car. I'm not exactly a fan. Just feels too boaty for me. Feels a little vague in the feeling. And yeah, I mean, it's not like it's uncontrollable, but I think this would be the one I would struggle the most to feel comfortable in. So I'm just going to shut up this lap and let you hear the sound. Alright, and that was a horrible lap around Silverstone. But yeah, Logan makes a great point. So, as I was mentioning, in terms of handling, this is my least favorite car. So, this car is one of the things that symbolizes the great thing about GT3. Cars in the GT3 class are so different, even with similar drivetrains. So, for example, the Mclaren and the Audi have similar drivetrains. They're going to drive drastically different. This car is a similar drivetrain to the Callaway Corvette, but the Callaway's it's a smaller car. It, in my opinion, is a more fun car to drive. And I bet there is someone in this world who could drive this BMW M6 Gt3 and outright beat me in the car and feel the most comfortable with it. These different cars fit different driving styles. So that's one of the great things with GT3. It is just a awesome discipline, and for the most part, these cars are matched pretty well in performance. So yeah, while this BMW is not my favorite car, other drivers would likely enjoy it. So, we're gonna hop out of this, and let's jump into our final car of this pack, our final car of this pack for now, the Audi R8 Lms Gt3. So, something interesting I've noticed, I'm going to jump into the actual tuning screen for a moment. It seems like there's some glitches right now. So, at least for this car specifically, I was noticing like, yeah, this is way too dark. And then under driving, I was noticing some minor graphical issues. Doesn't really impede the driving of the car. This, I feel, is one of my favorite cars to drive in this entire pack. And we'll go into Zandvoort. Oh, that's Zandvoort National. Here we go. GP. With no chicane. So, yeah, this car is one of my favorites. And it just, like, there needs to be a tiny bit more refinement graphically. In terms of driving, this car feels great. But for the actual driving of this car, or the visual of this car, it just seems slightly off. But hey, that's what patches are for nowadays. And sure, we would all just love to not rely on patches to fix things, but that's a reality of development right now. So I believe since I've been in this car before, it should have saved my previous force feedback settings. So we will check just to make sure though. But yeah, to answer Donald, yes, using the large midge, I was having some issues with my SimRacing Bay adapter. So we're going old school with an actual rim and the Holger QR1 quick release. So far, this works pretty well. Not the best quick release I've used, but definitely not the worst. So yeah, it's working. That's what matters. Settings, controls, car specific. Yes, that is 0.3. And again, we are getting the 1-to-1 rotation. As mentioned earlier in the stream, Studio 397 added that in a patch, or in a new update to the game, and now you do get the 1-to-1 rotation. You don't have to jump into SimuCube and adjust, which I am extremely happy for. So yeah, Shane, that's kind of what I was mentioning as well. There are some issues with this. They need to add tire branding and other visual touches. And it's kind of funny because yesterday I actually messaged Marcel Offermans about it. And Marcel Offermans, he's the head of Studio 397. And he was like, yeah, just let me know what issues you see and I'll try to address them. So yeah, I'm going to try to figure out what issues there are with this car. One thing I noticed is that at lower LOD models of this car, you could see through the door. from the inside. So that's another minor thing, but hey, hopefully they can fix it soon. But yeah, it's interesting. This car is snappy, but not overly so. That's one of the things I'm liking. I'm not the best that's on board. I apologize in advance. I need to learn this track a little more. But hey, we're having fun. I'm guessing they might add extra skins next month. They were talking about that's when they're going to release the templates, talk a little more about their material system. So hopefully that brings more skins. Because for the price, they should have more skins. I'll say that. One skin per car is pathetic. Because, yeah, they need more skins. They need that. So, just thinking, if they add more skins, that would be a better value. Because you don't want to race with 5 Audis with the exact same livery. Sound while downshifting braking. I'm going to shut up real quick. I know that's in the real car. It's some sort of buzzing. I don't know exactly what it is, but if you watch onboards of the Audi R8, you'll actually hear that. Don't hit that curb. It's a little too tall. This turn always gets me, though. I need to figure out how to take it better. I heard it might be something like a compressor. Hey, DJ, how's it going? So yeah, in terms of handling, this is my favorite car of the pack. This would be my favorite. It's snappy, it's precise in handling, it fits my driving style just about right, even on a track I just horribly suck at. But yeah, this is my favorite handling car. It's just a shame that the visual fidelity of this car is, in my opinion, the weakest. But yeah, in terms of the feeling of this car, handling, this car feels amazing. So next lap, I'm going to shut up and let you just bask in the great sound of this car. And see, or after that lap, I'll get into my closing thoughts on this pack. Yeah, I find it annoying that the UI is not ready yet, but at the same time, it is absolutely remarkable seeing what Studio 397 has done in less than 2 years. Actually, wait. Yeah, I think it's less than 2 years. Or might be less than 3 years. But since Studio 397 took over this title, they have done miracles with it. This was a title that, like, it was a cult classic, basically, in the mind of many, and it was essentially dead. It was dead. It had been left by the wayside, projects were being abandoned, and all in all, it just was a title that should have died in the mind of many. And then Studio 397 takes over, and just look at what they've done. They are just doing miracles with it. They're bringing cars people want to drive. They are just breathing new life into this. Granted, I bet there are the people who do say that, oh, they should be doing a lot of this for free, but it's a challenge because they do need to pay for things. They do need to live, after all. and they are just absorbing this title. And I think when the new UI comes out and when other things pan out, I think rFactor 2 is going to really be awesome, I think. So, yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how it turns out, but all in all, Studio 397 is giving me more reasons to play rFactor 2 now. And that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, so next lap I'll shut up, and then after that we will get into my closing thoughts. But yeah, I think, like, in your point about the multiplayer, that is a valid point. They want to make sure they do it right before it's implemented. Alright, time to shut up! There we go. Looks like it's going to be our best lap as well. Yes, it is. So, this car, my favorite of the pack in terms of driving, bar none. Like, this just feels great. It meshes with my driving style, feels precise without feeling over eager. This is my favorite car of the pack. And it's a shame that visually it doesn't match. So I'm going to hop out of this car. We can listen to the external sounds and look at the car. And you'll kind of see what I mean. So, look in here. You don't see any sign of buzzing, or not buzzing, of branding on the tires. And when you get further out in the level of details, you'll notice weird things from what I saw. So we'll have to see if that pops up. So interior was slightly weird, but actually we need to go further back. But yeah, this car is a lot of fun to drive. I will say that. This is a car that is very enjoyable. And you get the nice sense through the force feedback and also just through the physics of what this car is capable of. So I'm happy with it. It is a very fun car to drive. I feel like there are a couple things that need to be improved. I'm not sure if it's skins, livery, adding the brand new tires, things like that. But all in all, this is a nice car. So with that being said, let's go on to my final thoughts with this pack. This pack is $17. $17 for 5 cars. And you only get to drive 4 right now. In my opinion, these cars are worth it. These cars, in terms of the driving feel, are worth it. They just need that extra bit of polish. And it seems to be a running trend for rFactor 2. rFactor 2 is an excellent sim, great force feedback, great driving, and good racing. But it's the little things, it's the bits of polish that are lacking that keep me from saying, hey, this is a must buy. Because I recommend this. I wouldn't call it a must buy right now. Right now, every car has just one livery. It has one livery that you can use for the cars. There are no templates right now, so you can't make custom liveries either. And I'd say if there were 5 liveries per car, that would be nice. 5 liveries, 10 would be awesome. And that would make a great GT3 field with minimal duplicates. But right now, we don't have the templates. We don't have alternative paint schemes. We just have, I guess it's the manufacturer factory schemes, which is okay, but at the same time, you would want more. And then there's also just things that are missing. There's the element of just seeing that lack of polish on this car, and the visual fidelity isn't up to par versus the others. That's kind of disappointing. So, in my opinion, I'd say if you want the car now, buy it. There's no thing holding you back, because you are getting that Aston Martin for free when it comes out. If you buy the pack now, you get the Aston Martin for free later. If you are a little more apprehensive, want to see how it pans out, maybe wait a month and wait for the Aston Martin to come out and see if more liveries are added, what happens when liveries are coming out. So yeah, this is fun, but it just feels a little bit unpolished. But I'd say it is a really good pack. I recommend it. I'm loving driving these cars. In the future, I would love to maybe do a GT3 championship in rFactor 2. So I'm looking at my options. I'm looking at what I might be able to do in the future. Maybe collaborate with Studio 397 in doing a championship. But yeah, this is a fun pack, but I wouldn't say it's their best pack yet. They just need to add those little touches, and I think it would be a lot better. But yeah, this is the GT3 Contender pack, and it is a contender for being a great pack. So yeah, this is an exciting pack, but hey, I'd say that maybe wait if you don't have the GT3 Power Pack. Maybe in the future they might be doing a bundle. I wish, hopefully. I think it would be cool. Maybe seeing a bundle, both packs, GT3 Power Pack, GT3 Contender Pack, maybe at a discount. That would be cool to bring people into the GT3. But buying 2 GT3 packs separately, that would be a little weird. But yeah, I think that it's a good job. Not great, but good. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the GT3 Power or Contender Pack. And yeah, so it's good, not great, but this is my favorite car to drive, and I think there's a little something for everyone. But yeah, guys, this I think worked out pretty well. I'd say this was a fun stream. Thanks guys for watching. Hopefully I will get more content pumped out in the very near future. 2019 is going to be a great year for SimRacingPaddock though. We have some great things lined up, some great reviews, great content. Also, remember to stay tuned on Wednesday for the next race in the Retro Formula 1 Championship on Assetto Corsa through Sim Racing System. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. I'm William Mars for the Sim Racing Paddock, and everyone, have a good one. And also, Merry Christmas.